Latest on the war in Ukraine and the mounting pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin. There are protests breaking out across at least 38 cities in Russia. They're not mass protests, but they're out there. A human rights group in Russia estimates as many as 1,400 demonstrators have been arrested following Putin's order to call up at least 300,000 more troops. So for more on this, let's bring in ABC News contributor as well as former Defense and State Department official Steve Ganyard. Steve, good to see you. Of those arrested during these protests in major cities, Moscow, St. Petersburg, many have reportedly been served draft paperwork once they've been detained. It's like press gangs going out just rounding up military-age men. What's happening there? What's its significance?
Yeah, Terry. Well, apparently there weren't enough prisoners to take out of the prisons to boost Mr. Putin's army in Ukraine. So what's interesting here is that Mr. Putin has not burdened the Russian people during this war. In other words, there has been no general mobilization. The economy is not doing great, but it's doing pretty well because it's propped up by oil revenues. But he hasn't put in a draft. About the past 10 years or so, he spent a lot of money trying to professionalize his military to be more like Western militaries. Obviously, it's failed, and now he's having to go back to conscription because of the Army's failures in the Ukraine. He has nobody left. He has no reserves.
Yeah, he's got a large population, which he's going to mobilize to some extent. Can he win still?
300,000 troops is not going to help him win. And the bigger question is, what is winning? So let's talk about the troops. The troops themselves will take at least 6 months to train properly. Who knows how long it will take for them to find 300,000 military-aged males to put into uniform. So it's a long time before any of these conscripts will see the Ukrainian battlefield unless he just needs cannon fodder. But the other question, Terry, is what does winning mean? What does winning mean to Mr. Putin? Remember when he started this special military operation, it was retaking that 30% of the Donbass that he hadn't taken in 2014. So as he begins to lose more and more in the Ukraine, does he readjust his definition of winning, and does that ultimately lead to a negotiation?
You know, going into this war, this invasion by Russia, the Russian military had a reputation that had never been tested, but is one of the foremost military powers in the world. How much damage has been done to that? What have we learned about Russia's military?
It's absolutely shocking. There were people, military analysts around the world, who said that the Ukrainians would do very well, that they would stand up to Russia, that they would give them a good fight. Nobody predicted how bad the Russian military would be. It's absolutely shocking. My whole career, we looked off to the Russian, the Fulda Gap, and these Russians who were going to be 10 feet tall, and they'd be in Berlin in a day. It turns out that they can't even beat a country that had no significant military until the West stepped in. So it's a shocking defeat, and it just shows how long the Russian military has gone under this regime of corruption and incompetence, and the military that it's created was a Potemkin military.
Rotten in many ways because of that corruption. Steve, Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke at the UN Security Council today. He urged members to send a clear message to Russia and Vladimir Putin to stop making threats of potential nuclear attacks. How seriously should we take that, what Putin is threatening here?
Yeah, I always take a nuclear threat seriously, Terry, but part of the intent here by Putin was to scare us all, to think he's the madman that would use these nukes. But he was also talking to his own people and telling them that I'm asking a lot of you to give us 300,000 more of your sons. And what he needed to do is thump his chest a little bit and say, I will do everything to defend the homeland. So a couple different messages that he was trying to send, and in this case, the first one was to scare the world into thinking he's mad enough to use these nuclear weapons.
Well, as you say, everybody has to take a threat like that seriously, especially as the situation gets worse for Russia on the ground there. Steve Ganyard, thanks very much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.